Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Today is March 27th. Just an update about this week and where we've been so far, where we're going. I want to thank many of you for sending your papers, your drafts. I've returned them. Um, as I read them, I noticed a few things kind of in common across many, not all of them. One of those is to make sure that every methodological decision you make, you have some type of scholarly support for it. So for example, if you're using semi-structured interviews and you're defining semi-structured interviews, make sure that you have a reference for that definition. I know those things may seem very small, very detailed, but it's important for you to get in the habit of doing so because you'll need to do that for your dissertation and you'll need to do that for journals that you publish if you plan on publishing in your career going forward. That level of detail is really important. Keep in mind, some journals place more emphasis on some things rather than other things, but you will need that level of detail for your dissertation. That really is essential. So whatever you do, whatever you decide, make sure you have some kind of scholarly support or reference. I really encourage you to go beyond just what's in our texts or the readings we have online. It's kind of like the old saying, I don't know if many of you are old enough to remember when we used to get soda in bottles, and it would say on it NDNR, no deposit, no return. This work is kind of like that. No deposit, no return. You get out of it what you put into it. So the more you put into this, especially if your dissertation will have to do with it in any way, even peripherally, the more work you put into this, the less work you'll have to do when you start writing your chapters 1, 2, and 3, because you'll have a lot of that information, that knowledge, the references, the information already there, already collected. And in some cases, it may just be a matter of copying and pasting. So the more work you do now, the less work you'll have to do farther down the road. So something to keep in mind. Also, APA format. Um, for the most part, the College of Education and even journals that we publish in, for the most part in education, follow APA. So if you do not have an APA handbook, I really encourage you to get one and make sure that whatever you do in terms of your citations, your references, even style, in terms of where you put periods inside quotation marks, etc., is consistent. That may sound really nitpicky, probably is, but there are many journals out there that are very clear about what citation format they want, and many of them will tell prospective authors, authors submitting something, that they will not even consider reviewing it if it's not in proper format, whether it's APA, Chicago style, MLA, whatever the case may be. So it's really important that you have that level of detail already. And the more you do it now, the more it becomes a habit, and the less you'll have to think about it as you get down the road. No one expects you to remember the proper format for a journal article. I don't remember the proper format for a journal article. I am pretty most of the time, but even now, I still look at the APA handbook and check what I'm doing when I'm getting near completion of a manuscript, because some of these details, especially since times have changed with the internet, a lot more formats than we used to have to worry about when I was in college, which was a long time ago. In any case, um, keep in mind that that detail is really, really essential. Another thing I wanted to talk about is kind of life in general, and there's a purpose to this, there's a meaning to this. Let's see, 2 weeks ago was spring break. Not exactly the most relaxing, enjoyable spring break I would like to have had, My youngest son, he's 15. He spent spring break here with me, and on it was Monday or Tuesday of spring break, he had oral surgery, frenectomy, whereas to clip the connective tissue underside the tongue for children who are sometimes tongue-tied. And some of that was addressed when he was born. Apparently, it grows back sometimes. So he had that done, and at the same time had 3 of his 4 wisdom teeth removed. And any of you who've gone through that know that is really unpleasant. And it's 4 or 5 days of um, discomfort and swelling, changing one's diet because he can't chew. Um, Not exactly the most enjoyable spring break for a 15-year-old, or for me, but especially for him. And then last week, my mother-in-law was rushed to UMC and taken into surgery urgently, and she spent most of that week in the hospital. So life can be extreme. And by the way, they live in Lubbock. Life can be extremely unpredictable sometimes. Unpredictable, sometimes in good ways, sometimes in not so pleasant ways. Um, the reason I tell you that is because if any of you are experiencing things like that, things that are unpredictable and out of your control, I really, really encourage you to contact me as soon as possible if you're worried, even concerned that it might affect um, how you're doing in class. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that as faculty, we can, we're allowed to, and we should be allowed to make accommodations and change deadlines for people who are experiencing things that are out of their control. And a few of you have brought those up. You've had family illnesses, birth of a child. And I really want to thank you for letting me know, because clear and direct communication, that's the easiest way for me to know how I can help you succeed. And we want to help you succeed. I hope I speak for everyone when I say that. But if you're experiencing something like that and it's out of your control and you're having difficulty with deadlines, please let me know as soon as possible. We can adjust deadlines. We can move deadlines back. We can arrange a few extra days at the end of the semester. We can arrange an incomplete. And this is important. This is really the important thing for you to know. There's no penalty to you when we do that. Right? These things are out of your control, and we're here to help. And I'm here to help. The last couple of weeks reminded me of that in particular. So I wanted to mention that because sometimes I know as graduate students, we tend to worry a lot. I was the same. And we tend to worry sometimes about things that aren't within our control, things that we can't control. And I'm afraid to mention them or talk about them. And please don't be, because we're here to help. Things that are not in your control, uh, we can help you with that. And we want to help you. So that's just a reminder. Like I said, the last couple of weeks really made those points clear to me. In any case, if you have any questions about where you are with your papers, uh, any questions about it at all, please let me know. Contact me sooner rather than later. I'm always glad to speak with you. Phone, Zoom, or preferably meeting for coffee on campus. That is my preferred. I know that doesn't work for everyone because of distance, but if you have a question about something, concerned about where you're going, you hit a roadblock, you want to talk, that's what I'm here for. And please don't be shy about calling me, because I don't have nearly enough contact with my students as I would like to back when I used to teach face to face. So you are never imposing on me by asking for my help. That's what I'm here for. In any case, I hope everything's going well, and I'll be in touch again next week. You know where to reach me if you have any questions. Have a good week, everyone.